Hello there. This video is called Work-Life Balance for Working Mothers. Now, that's a big subject. So what I'm going to do in this series of 3 videos is talk about the most critical, the main issues that affect our work-life balance as working mothers. And not only talk about them and show them you, but how you're going to apply them consistently in your life so that you have a better experience. So hi, I'm Nicki Vee, and I'm here from the 1010 movement. And the 1010 movement is here to help you to go from the struggle to succeeding in your life, in any area of your life. So this, as I said, this is a series of 3 videos. The first video and the first main issue that my experience is that affects our work-life balance, that affects our life, is our energy. Now you might say, oh, hold on, Nicki, is this some sort of esoteric out there, I don't know, spiritual guru stuff? No. Energy, think about it for a minute. When you notice somebody, you might not use that word energy, but you might go, hey, they were in a good space today. They were in a not good space today. Their energy was bad, or they seemed low, or they seemed overly high. You know what I mean by that? So energy is about, so in order to have like balance in our life, the reason why I'm talking about that as a critical issue that we need to talk about and learn how to apply is that it's such a sort of esoteric kind of like, intangible thing to talk about. So I want to split it up, even within this video, into sort of the moving parts. Now, if you've watched Tony's video series, you'll have heard him talk about this as well. I want to talk about it specifically for working mothers. Now, actually, I'm a working grandmother, but it's the same situation. How do we balance? How do we overcome those issues which cause us to have this no balance in our lives, where we feel frantic or we feel like just not at peace? And so I want to break it down exactly as Tony did and share with you that in order to have the right energy so that we have great balance in our lives between our work life and our home life, our kids, our partner, our friends, our family, our work, our hobbies, our whatever it is, where we can find that balance. When we talk about our energy, we need our energy to be in a good space. This is what I'm not talking about here, is having this kind of high energy, because it's not sustainable. I'm also not talking about us having low, like not good, maybe even depressed energy. So what are the factors that make up having great energy? And they are 3 more things. So we've got 3 videos in this series. We've got 3 things that will create for us the right energy to have the life we want to have in the right balance. And the first thing is very, very simply what we eat, or you could say what we put past our lips. Interestingly, just before I started to make this video, I was listening to a video of someone who was speaking about being alcohol free. Now, before you switch the video off, I am not saying that you have to be alcohol free to be in good energy. But what you do have to do is be really clear with yourself and honest with yourself as to whatever we put past our lips, is this sugar, that's going to give us not good energy? Is it healthy food? Is it the right amount of food? Is it healthy drinks? Are we drinking enough water? I know that you will have heard this. This is not just coming from people like myself who talk about how we have great energy, how we have great lives. This, thank goodness, is in the public eye right now. There was a whole thing recently about how can we make sure that children eat less sugar. Because any mom will tell you, and I know you'll agree with me here, that if you give your children a whole load of sweets and sugar and foods that have a load of sugar in, they're going to be hyper. They're going to be some children go out of control. A lot of moms that I've worked with who say, yeah, but you don't understand, Nicki. You know, my child's got, you know, attention deficit. And I go, well, can I just ask you, how are you eating? What, you know, how's your energy? What are you putting past your lips? And let's be honest, we all know what's good for us and what isn't good for us. I don't need to lecture you about what's good for us and what's not good for us. It's pretty bloody obvious that if something's full of sugar, if something's like not green, you know, if it's something stodgy. Years and years ago, I read something and heard something which absolutely changed my life. And that was this question. So when you look at what you're going to eat, so let's talk about the eating thing. When you look at what you're going to eat, you ask yourself this question. It's a great question. Will this cleanse me? In other words, will it send, you know, great stuff through my body and my body can take the nutrients from it? Or will it clog me? Look, we all know, especially when we've had babies, we know that what we put inside, what we put into that baby's mouth is going to be directly equal to what comes out the other end. Well, it's the same with us. And then if you take, like I said, like alcohol, for example, think about it. What's your energy like? How excited are you about getting up the next morning if you have too much alcohol? Just as an example. So this first issue might sound like, you know, Nicki's giving me a lecture on like what I eat and whether I should, you know, whether I should eat chocolate or whether I should drink alcohol or whether I should have much bread or whatever that is. No, I'm not. I'm just saying to you, be super aware of the impact it has on your energy, the impact it has on your desire to balance things. You know, do you find it a struggle, as I said, to balance things, to pack everything into a day, or do you actually find it a real struggle? And what I'm saying to you is, let's just think about that one thing that we could do differently. We could we could be really honest with ourselves and say, what is it that I'm eating? What is it that I'm putting past my lips? And let me just be real honest and go, how is it affecting me? And therefore, could it be that Nicki Vee's right, that actually affects me so that when I have lots of things to do in the day, my work-life balance goes to hell. You know, literally, I'm sort of chasing my tail and I'm like really having the negative effect of having a time for me, time for my relationship, time for my family, time for my work, and so that everything's smooth and fits and balances, with great word, balances out. So first of all, what we put past our lips and what we eat is going to have that effect. So let me ask you a question. Think about it. What would be the one thing that you know affects your energy really negatively, makes life even more difficult, where you go, what's the truth here? I know that if I stop that life would be just that little bit easier because I wouldn't be feeling so groggy or I wouldn't be feeling so that. The second thing, which is actually quite interesting, is what we think. And I'm going to, in the third video in this series, I'm going to take that apart and go like, you know, overused term, what's my mindset? I'm going to take apart what we think. So that's going to be in the third video. The third thing today that affects our energy, because of course our mindset affects our energy, is our environment. People don't think about that. And honestly, what I find so amusing is, as working mothers, the biggest thing that we say is, we don't have time to keep our house tidy. We don't have time to, you know, have time for ourselves. And here's the thing, if we have an environment that supports our energy, that supports us, then everything else seems to work better. You know what I mean. You know that if you have been fortunate enough, for example, to say, have a new kitchen, for example. I was fortunate enough a couple of years ago to have a new kitchen and actually did something which was quite brave at the time, but I literally cleared it completely. and threw away or got rid of and gave to charity shops anything that was really old and horrid, and decided, when I say horrid, I don't mean I give something to the charity shops that was horrid. I mean it was like something that was like been sitting around for absolutely ages and wasn't really using it. It was a bit out of date, so I, electronic thing that was a bit out of date. I'm like kind of going, hold on a minute. When I now open, when I get my new kitchen, let me look at and let me take away all the clutter. And let me just actually have only what I need. And you will be surprised how little you need. So I said to you at the beginning that what I want to do today is not just talk about it and show you what the things are that affect your energy, therefore affect your work-life balance as working moms. What I wanted to do was show you how to apply it. So the first thing I want to ask you is take a look around your house and go, what could I let go of here? What is cluttering up my house? Which, by the way, you might go, what the hell's this got to do with work-life balance? It has a lot to do with it, in my understanding, because when we let go of stuff, it kind of makes space. And therefore, we're not looking at it, we're not churning over in my mind, in our minds, when am I going to get round to organising all of that? When am I going to get round to sorting all that out? So we truthfully apply. So what could you let go of today? So how could you apply what you're hearing here to let go? And then to take some moments to go, so what impact is this having on me and my energy? And then watch how that has an impact on the balance you have in your life. Because I'm so certain that I've been coaching a long time. I've seen many, many working moms who are just struggling to have that work-life balance because they fill their minds, they fill their bodies, they fill their lives with so much stuff that we don't need. So if you're with me on this and you agree with me on this and you're willing to go, give it a whirl, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at what we can let go of in our homes, or maybe in our cars, or maybe in our workspace. Okay, the environment is really, really important, has an impact on us. It either drains us and makes us feel low, or it actually supports us in our desire to have better work-life balance. And the second thing, just going back to what we put past our lips, what we eat, what we drink maybe, is what's the number one thing? I was just going to say worst thing, so I'm going to say it. What's the worst thing that we put past our lips? Which we know as moms, if we gave that to our children, it's either going to make them crazy or it's going to make them sleepy when we don't want them to be asleep. What's the one thing that we could go, okay, I'm going to make a decision inside of myself right now to stop doing that, to stop giving myself a low energy moment. Now, you're probably going to go, great, so that's all I have to do, Nicki Vee? What about how the time management and all that? Yes, I honestly believe, and I've been experienced this massively myself as a mom and then a grandma, massively myself with working with lots of working moms over the years. I can actually say, if we just keep this simple and start right there, that our energy can change, and therefore we start to feel like life is easier. Now, so if you have liked this video, first of all, please answer those questions. What are you going to let go of? What are you going to decide you're going to stop eating, put past your lips? And do please tell me in the comments below about what you've decided, if you would like to. Okay, now, if you want to now watch the second video in this series, it's up there. And it's about the second thing, which is the language that we use. What do we say to ourselves inside of our head? What do we say out loud? How do we language what we're experiencing that actually has a negative impact on our work-life balance? So that's the next one. If you are interested in the 10-10 movement and would like to take a test to find out where you are in your life, then go to the video down here on the 10-10 movement. If this is the first video that you've watched, welcome to Tony and Nicki Vee at the 10-10 movement. Please do press the subscribe button and the notification bell, and that will tell you about when our next video is live. So thank you very much for today. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.